Here on the Radio Wammo Breakfast, let's talk TV on the box or on the radio. I've just messed that one up already. On the box, on the radio. That's it. TV talk with Chris Philpott.
It's the longest name of any segment on any radio station.
I think it's only a working title at the moment. We need to come up with something a little bit snappier, perhaps.
Yeah, definitely.
Otherwise,
how's things going?
Good, man. Good. Otherwise, it'll never catch on. We need something that's going to catch on. But we've got plenty to get through today, so let's dig into the news first of all. First up, the MTV Music Awards. It's been hassled somewhat by some stars.
It has. Well, Adam Levine, who's the singer of Maroon 5, he tweeted. Now, I'm not sure about using Twitter as a news source. I'm a little bit dubious about that.
Yeah.
But he tweeted saying, the VMAs, which is the Video Music Awards, the one day a year when MTV pretends to still care about music, which it seems a little bit silly. MTV is well known now for not having anything to do with music aside from having music in their name.
That's
so
a very good
I don't know
point.
what he's complaining about.
Yeah, actually, when you think about MTV now, you think about MTV programming and MTV type programming. In fact, if you see some programming on like Channel 4, you go, that's kind of like MTV. And it's nothing to do with music. It's normally reality TV shows or something, right?
Yeah, well, they have their style. It's the like the Real World and the Jersey Shore, and they've got now a couple of original series that have come out. They tried having a go at remaking Skins, the British series, for the US market, and that failed.
Yeah.
But they've had a hit recently with Teen Wolf, which is kind of a gritty reimagining of the Teen Wolf movie.
Yeah.
Except without Michael J. Fox involved. And that seems to have been a bit of a hit for them. At the end of the day, MTV's like every other channel. They're looking for ratings, they're looking for an audience share, and music videos doesn't do that for them. So why would they bother? I
actually heard that Beavis and Butthead was going to be making a return to MTV at some stage.
Yeah, they're back now. They might be now, they might be another month away, but they are making a comeback. 2011, I don't know if it's the right place for a couple of bogans. Well,
but also, I mean, the whole thing about Beavis and Butthead is that they would sit on their couch taking the piss out of music videos. But if MTV's not playing music videos, then what are they taking the piss out of?
Well, I think that that will still be the format of the show from what I've read. But, I mean, time will tell. We'll see what it looks like if it ever makes it down to MTV New Zealand.
Yeah.
Hopefully it does, because it was bloody entertaining back in the day.
Oh, so MTV does still exist in New Zealand? I had no idea. Not on my radar.
There's an MTV channel and there's MTV Classic, which is all music videos. Though not many classic music videos, which is disappointing.
Yeah. Basically, the only choice really is Juice TV. Oh, I suppose there's C4, which is now on the C42 channel. Yeah.
Yeah, there's 4 as well. They're not playing too much music videos. I think only a few hours early in the afternoon.
Yeah.
But you've got MTV Classic, which is music videos wall to wall, and then of course Juice and J2, or I think it's called 63 now.
Yeah.
Which they're both music videos wall to wall as well, and a high concentration of New Zealand stuff, which is good.
All right. Moving on to live TV news crosses, or perhaps fake TV news crosses.
Well, this story. It's made me laugh, but it's also made me kind of sad. What happened was, you'll remember that the Daniel Morecambe murder. He went missing in 2003, and he's recently been found. There was a big search. They got some tip to say where he was on the Sunshine Coast.
Australia, right?
In Australia, yeah.
Yeah.
And what happened was, a news station in Australia pretended to be doing live crosses out to the search site to a helicopter. But what happened was they found that the helicopter was actually, in one case, just sitting on the helipad above their head office in Brisbane, and then in another time it was just flying around another place, another one of their offices at Mount something or other. I can never say all the Australian names, but the reporters now, they got sacked. 2 reporters and a producer got sacked, and they're saying it was totally unfair. Now, the interesting thing about this story is that it brings into question the whole kind of, can we trust the news?
Yeah.
And that's what the real problem is. They talk about, in media studies, they talk about this idea of modality, which is talking about how accurate a representation of reality is. And news is supposed to have the highest modality on television. It's supposed to be as real as it can be, unbiased opinion, just straight reporting of facts. And this kind of calls all of that into question, and it really was disgraceful.
Well, if you were watching TV3 last night, in their news, leading the news bulletin was the story about one of the contestants at New Zealand's Next Top Model. Having photos on Facebook of her and friends with drugs or something along those lines. Not exactly a leading news story, especially when there was other stuff going on in the world, and I noticed a lot of criticism on Twitter about that. So that once again also brings into question the validity of TV3 as a credible news source.
Well, it does, and it calls into question, as you say, whether they're actually reporting based on whether a story is actually meritable for being on the news.
Yeah.
But also, it is made more complicated by the fact that New Zealand's Next Top Model is a TV3 show. So, is it a leading news story or is it a promotion for their programming later in the week?
It's quite blatantly a promo. In fact,
the line is blurred.
Yeah, exactly. All right, let's move on from live news crosses to what's been on. Now, The Walking Dead is about to wrap up on TV2.
It is. It finishes up tonight, 9:30 p.m. on 2. And it's just brilliant. You've seen the series, have you?
I have. Loved it. Loved every minute of it.
Probably watched it last year when it was on in the States, though.
May have.
Same as I did. I've watched it again, though. It really is fantastic. It's exciting. It's a real thriller of a show. It's very intense. Lots of gore and lots of zombies. And it kind of works for the same reason that a lot of zombie movies work. I was thinking one of the comparisons would be Dawn of the Dead.
Yeah.
The remake, Zack Snyder did a few years ago, which worked because it was an ensemble cast and it was really no holds barred. It just was in your face and didn't sort of hold anything back. It was really good. I think The Walking Dead works for that same reason.
Yeah, there was always the danger, of course, that the zombie genre would be overdone, and I was feeling a little bit like that when I first got into The Walking Dead, but they just do it so well, and they do it true to the rules, don't they? I mean, aren't there rules about zombie films and TV shows?
You never say zombie on camera. But there are rules, I guess. One of the rules, and certainly the one that The Walking Dead has followed closely, that a lot of zombie movies don't, is that it takes itself seriously.
Yeah.
I think the trap that a lot of zombie movies, especially zombie TV shows, there's no real precedent for that, but zombie movies kind of fall into this category where they don't take themselves seriously. It's kind of, it's zombies, here, let's have a laugh about that.
Yeah.
But The Walking Dead and Dawn of the Dead, as I was saying, kind of takes itself really seriously. It's played straight. It's just played as this is what it would be like if this actually happened, and that really works in its favour. It's exciting from that angle.
And as we already said, of course, that we did see this last year when it was playing in the States, and it did take a little while to get here to TV2. So, do you think the audience would have been larger, or did they get enough promotion out of the people who saw it online to tell their friends, hey, go see it on TV2?
That's a real argument there, whether they would have had more audience. I think that they might have, only because it was a really hyped production even before it aired on TVNZ or before it aired on AMC in the States, where it was first. It was really hyped. It was really, a lot of people were looking forward to this. But you have to think that if they had the show on the air a week, maybe 2 weeks after AMC had it, the audience might have been bigger.
Yeah.
That said, TV2's audience for this has been huge for the time slot that it's in. For 9:30 p.m. on a Wednesday night, they're getting sort of 200 to 300,000 viewers across all ages, and it's taking a 33% share of the audience at that time, which is huge for a show on a free-to-air channel at 9:30 p.m. and for a zombie show especially.
Good. I'm very, very glad about that. Let's move on. Go ahead.
So I was just going to say, it does give hope that they might start taking a flyer on these shows in the future. These risky kind of, will it work, will it not work? They might take a bigger chance on that, and hopefully we'll see Series 2 a lot quicker than we saw Series 1.
Good point. And it shouldn't have been too much of a risk for The Walking Dead, because it was only 6 episodes, right?
Yeah, it's 6 episodes.
Yeah.
The second series starts in October in the States, and that's another 12 or 13 episodes, I think.
Can't wait. Okay, that leads us very nicely onto the things that we shouldn't be watching. And I certainly haven't been watching, because I don't know much about this, but you have. It's called Louie.
Louie is it's a comedy series made by the FX network. The show is produced, written, directed. It stars. I'm pretty sure he does the catering, maybe does some baking on the weekends for the crew. By Louis C.K., who's a stand-up comedian, one of the more edgy more crude comedians in the world at the moment. A lot of his stuff probably isn't suitable for air, but his show is just fantastic. In my opinion, I would say, we talked about Breaking Bad being the best show on TV last week. I think Louie's probably the second best show. It is really brilliant.
Wow. Okay, that's gold standard right there. I mean, is it like a? I mean, it's a half-hour show, right? Is it sitcom or is it something else?
It's a half-hour show. It's no laugh track, single camera filmed. So it's filmed more along the lines of something like Modern Family, but it's not like Modern Family at all. Where Modern Family would take the tropes of situational comedies. Louie kind of bucks the trend. It delves a lot more into his own view of the world. He kind of shares his own worldview by going out into different situations and showing how he handles those situations. A lot of it is to do with his kids. He's got two actresses who play two young children who play his kids on the show, and they're involved a lot. The most recent episode ended up being an hour long as opposed to an hour, and it was all about him taking a duckling on a trip, USO trip to Afghanistan, and how that saved the lives of everyone that was there. It's just this really abstract stuff intermingled with his stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
But it's just really interesting to see, and I think it's interesting to see it as just this one guy's vision. It's just Louis C.K. on film. There's no other way to really explain it. And it's really interesting to watch.
It sounds really, really deadpan. It sounds like something I might want to get into. So that is not playing here in New Zealand, though, right?
It's not. The first series aired on Comedy Central. It was at a weird time, and it had very little promotion from memory, and it came out a year after the fact. So okay. I don't have faith that it will show up on any free-to-air networks at all. It certainly isn't the sort of thing that would fit in next to How I Met Your Mother or The Big Bang Theory.
All right.
It wouldn't fit in at all.
Okay. Finally, a few things to look forward to coming up this week.
Yeah, the big one for me is Torchwood Miracle Day, which is the fourth series of Torchwood, the Doctor Who spin-off, which starts at 9:30 on Thursday on Prime.
And that's something that we've been both following in the segment that we shouldn't be watching, but we can say it is... Okay, no, I've got to say that the first two episodes fall quite flat for me, and I was a little bit unsure of where they were headed now that they're in America, and it's the American Stars Network putting it together with the help of the BBC. But it does pick up, persist. I think it's almost like, to me, it's like the very first season of Torchwood, where the first two episodes you're like, a little bit cringe-worthy, it's a little bit awkward, and then, man, it just hits it, and it gets real, and it's very, very cool. So stick in there with Torchwood that starts at 9:30 on Prime on Thursday.
Definitely, it's a really good premise, but it's not, I don't think, as good as Children of Earth for Torchwood fans. So don't go in expecting that level of production. It's not there.
Okay. We'll both be watching New Zealand's Next Top Model on Friday.
Oh, I don't think so, buddy. But the final is on. It's a live finale on Friday night. They're filming it at New Zealand Fashion Week. But, I mean, I boycotted the show a few weeks ago, so that's just a public service announcement for your listeners, really.
Okay.
And then, of course, there's the movie Rage, which is on Sunday night, part of the Sunday Theatre series on TV1, which is about the 1981 Springbok tour.
Oh, yes.
It follows a female police officer who kind of goes undercover with the protesters, and it's an inside look on that, and it looks like it might be pretty good. The whole series has been really good so far, so there's no reason to think that Rage, which is Sunday 8:30 on 1, won't be as good as the other three.
Cool. Look forward to that. Excellent. Chris Philpott.
Awesome.
On the Box is the blog, of course, over at stuff.co.nz in the entertainment section there. Check it out every day. And also, of course, on Twitter as well. Continue the conversation over there. Twitter.com/Chris Philpott NZ. See you, mate.
See you later.